this is Diamond Shine Soap. I'm so glad to see you guys today. We will be making some candles today out of the Puebla tumblers from Candle Science. These are some very beautiful small tumblers, but before we get into these tumblers, guys, I want to tell you a little bit about what I do during the week. During the week, I do one-on-one coaching sessions with candle makers just like you. You could be in the beginning, you could be advanced, or you could just be clueless, not even know where to start. It does not matter where you are in the candle making industry. These one-on-one coaching sessions are tailor-made and cut out just for you. I don't sit down before you with a little script and a notepad and just, I pretty much go where you are. So if you don't know anything, I'll sit down and teach you everything you need to know. If you know everything and you've been stuck, I'll sit down and help you with that too. So if you're stuck at wicking, you don't know what kind of wax to use, or you're using coconut wax, you're unsure why everything is burning fast, it's just not working. It does not matter what the problem is. You need to make sure you click on that link in the description box and it will take you right to that link. One small investment can save you hundreds of dollars, okay? So now we're going to talk about these Puebla tumblers, okay? These are from Candle Science. They're really cool. They're really small and tiny. As you see, they come with some bronze tops and they have some gold tops. Myself, I really love the bronze ones. The gold ones fit, but the bronze had more like a snug fit. Like it's a little bit more snug, and this one is just, I don't know, it is not as snug. But I like them because they're very small. You can use them for dessert candles, and you can do straight pour candles. If you're doing some straight pour candles, they will definitely fall in line with the luxury if you would want them to. And also, if you're doing desserts, you don't even need the tops, so don't even invest in tops. You normally when people do dessert candles, it's coming outside just a little bit anyway, so don't even waste your time, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these and we're gonna make some candles today, but I want to let you guys know everything you need is in the description box. I do not give out wick sizes on YouTube, so if you can go through all of my videos, I deleted a lot of the old videos too because a lot of them were error. I gave out the wrong wick sizes and stuff like that, so I would never want to mislead you guys. I do a lot of testing, a lot of studying, just to make sure that you have exactly what you need, okay? So in the description box, you will see one, and it will say PDF. It's one link where it will just say PDF, and it pretty much gives you the entire recipe. If you're using 6006, if you're using 464, it will give you the entire recipe, meaning the wick size that you need to use. And listen, when I give you guys the wick size that you need to use, I want to let you know this. Now, let's say I say you need to use the CD2. Let's just say that, even though we know we can't use enough CD2 in this little thing. But let's just say it's that. It will tell you that you need to use a CD2 or a CD3. Like, it gives you two sizes to test. One of them will be successful, one of them won't. And the most successful one that you'll use, you'll look at it, take an assessment, and say, hey, I would like this to burn a little bit more. Maybe you'll need to go up one. Hey, I would like this to burn a little bit less. Maybe you need to go down one. But either way around, you won't have to sit there with 9 jars in front of you. It gives you a direct point of where you need to start testing it, okay? So I did these things to make it a little bit easier on you, and there will be some more jars being added this week. The Bath and Body Works one wick, single wick tumbler, we're adding those on Wednesday. So just keep in tune, and there's some great things happening. The last thing I'm going to tell you guys, and I know I have a lot of announcements, we are still doing our Parasoy virtual candle workshop, virtual candle making workshop. In that virtual candle making workshop, we do tumblers, we do amber jars, we do salsa, the 9-ounce straight-sided salsa jar. We do these. We do the 9-ounce straight-sided salsa jar, and we do the 3-wick tumbler by Bath and Body Works. That's the tumbler that they use, but right now they're not selling it. But inside of if you contact me, if you purchase a class and you contact me, I'll send you 2 links of 2 places that I know that have them in stock, because Candle Science, for some reason, they just cannot keep them in stock. All right, so listen, I'm not going to hold you guys up. I'm so excited about this candle making journey that we're about to embark on. Let's go ahead and get to our Puebla tumblers, okay? Okay, so now let's go ahead and get our tumblers. Now, what I do want to teach you guys about, when you get new candle jars and stuff like that. Now, myself, I always work with different jars. As you guys know, I teach you guys how to wick, little stuff like this. And this is the 4-ounce mason or whatever. And also, this was another one that I taught you guys how to wick, and this was the single wick tumbler. Now, with that being said, when you think about these single wick tumblers, like what I usually do is I'll be like, okay, I perfectly wick this single wick tumbler. Let's just see, because this can fit on here. This can fit on here. This is a single wick tumbler. And so Candle Science, back in the day, they would say something along the lines of, you know, we don't have a top for this single wick tumbler, not knowing that this is a good top. This is a perfect top. Not sure if they have it on their listed now, but I know that, you know, before they didn't. So because this can fit on this, then I would go to this and I would do this. And I would say, oh my God, this is the same size. This is like the same diameter. Only thing is, this one is a little bit thicker than this one. This is thinner. But ultimately, you would use the same wick size because it has the same amount of opening. Like this one, when you put it up to it, it's the same diameter pretty much. So because of that, that makes this whole process easier, okay? So you know you're going to be probably using the same size wick that you used in this one if you did use the single wick tumbler in the past, or if you have something with this particular diameter where you can take it and compare it to that one as well. Okay guys, now if you are making a parasoid candle, the best wick to use for that is the CD series. It's really good. And if you are making a soy candle, the best wick to use for that is not an eco wick, because eco burn at like 160 degrees or something like that, around that temperature. So it burns a little cooler, and because of that, you know, you won't get the best hot throw. So always go against the grain and use something that's a little bit hotter. So for me, I'm using the CD series. For you can use, if you have 464, you can use HTP, you can use CD. You just pretty much just go and see which one works best for you, okay? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wick this. Now, whenever I wick my jars and stuff like that, I typically do something, and I show you guys this every time, but this may be your first time watching me. In order for me to know which one is the bigger wick, like the bigger size wick, I always just put a little glue on the bottom, and that way I know, because I always test 2 containers at one time. Like that's my thing. So I know if 1 or 2 don't work, then I know the next one is the perfect one. So you know, I don't do a lot of testing, and even with the two containers that I use, there's no tunneling. You know, it may not burn perfect, but it's still something that I can burn in the house, and it's not going to waste. And that's why I used to do wick training, because I used to tell people, like, you just have to get straight to the point. Okay, all right, so now we got these perfectly wicked. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is, it's time for us to heat up our wax and then pick out a fragrance. Now for these particular candles, when they go inside these kind of jars, guys, and I just have to be very honest with you guys, when they go inside these kind of jars, these are not going to give you the greatest hot throw in the world, because they are so small. So because of that, you want to use a fragrance that's going to give you a really high hot throw. Like, you want to use something that's super strong. So let me go ahead and get something that's very strong and just show you guys what I'm going to be using. Okay, so I'm going to be using Cozy Cabin by Just Scent. Just Scent has very strong fragrances. They're a little on the high side, but they do have really strong fragrances. Or, you know, if I wasn't going to use the Cozy Cabin, then I would use Sun and Earth by Fragrance Buddy, or I would use Wood Smoke by Fragrance Buddy. I typically like to use strong fragrances when I have a small container, okay? So it's like my little lighter stuff, like lavender and eucalyptus and stuff like that. I like to use those in like double wicking or triple wicking, because you won't really get a good hot throw out of those light scents when they come down to like really small vessels, you know, stuff like this that's really little. Okay, all right, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and take my wax and I'm gonna put it inside my pot, and then I'm going to go from there. All right, so now let me give you a little bit more information about these jars. Now the maximum fill weight, well, all right, so let me tell you guys, these take about 7 ounces of wax to the fill line, okay? If you want to do overflow, that's something different, but the fill line is 7 ounces of wax. So we're going to go ahead and weigh out, let's weigh out 14 ounces of wax. 7 times 2 is 14. So let's do that. Okay, so I got 14 ounces of wax. Now I'm getting ready to put my wax inside my pot, but I have to check the temperature of my pot. So my pot right now is at 151 degrees. So I want to let that come down just a little bit. So while I'm doing that, the next thing that I would do is go ahead and weigh out my fragrance. So now I need to see the percentage of fragrance that I'm using. Okay, so all of that will be listed inside of that sheet, so you will know how, and I have a video to teach you how to get the percentage of fragrances. Okay, so let me go ahead and get the percentage of fragrance for my wax. Okay, so I have weighed out my fragrance, and I have my fragrance just sitting by. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to start melting down my wax slowly. Now I always teach you guys to start melting it down slowly at first and then increase the temperature, because what'll happen is you'll scorch the first amount of wax that you put in there. So let's just say the wax that's on the bottom or on the top. Like right now mine is already at 188, and so I want it to be a little bit lower, you know, and everything just kind of melt together, or whatever the case may be. So you just kind of just leave it alone and let it just melt down. Don't try to turn up the temperature really high just to rush it. Just take your time, let it melt down, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, so while we are waiting for our wax to cool down, I just want to have a chat moment with you guys. Like I was saying, it is very important to monitor the temperature from start to finish. Use those recommended pouring temperatures that you get from me, or you know, maybe you got them from someone else, or whatever the case may be, but utilize those recommended pouring temperatures, because that will help you to avoid sinkholes and stuff like that. Like, you know, a lot of times I see people and they'll complain about their hot throw. You know, if you're not adding your fragrance at the right temperature, you're going to have a hot throw issue. If you are adding your wax to your container too soon, you know, you're going to have sinkholes. So just to kind of avoid the little mistakes of candle making, you know, make sure that you monitor those temperatures. And also remember that if you are using color dyes and things like that, that can also mess up your wick size, because you can have, like, you know, your candles can burn perfectly when you're not using any color, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, the color is clogging the wick. So it's just these little teeny tiny kumbaya flame, and you're like, what the heck is going on? That's exactly what's going on. Your color dye can be clogging your wick. And also fragrance does make a difference. If you use some fragrance, you may use, like, let's say a CD6 wick, and you look up, you use another fragrance, you might need a CD7 wick. So, you know, it's all about the fragrance as well. You know, these are just the little things that people kind of run into, and this would, you know, kind of hinder them from going forward in the candle making industry, because they get stuck at, oh my God, what's happening? So these are just like the little common mistakes that can be easily avoided if you follow the instructions. Like I said, in the description box, there are many helpful things, including the wick guide, where you guys can go and use that wick guide and just, you know, this is the wick guide I use. I don't use Candle Science wick guide, and this helped me out tremendously. So I've included that in the description box as well. Okay guys, now mine is nice and cloudy and ready to pour. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour it into my first vessel. Pouring very slow, because I don't want to pour so fast that I create bubbles. And I'm just going to pour it up to my fill line, and that is perfect. And then with the next one, I'm going to do the same thing, repeating the process. And if I have a little bit of wax left over, then I'll just kind of even them out, you know, just fill them up a little bit more, which I do. Okay, now I don't want to overfill them, I just want to fill them enough, you know. Okay, so that's it's in a good place right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some wick stabilizers. I'm going to stabilize my wicks and bring them to the center and just let this cure. Okay, so I just want to zoom in really quick. You see my wicks are nice and straight. They are solidifying. As you can see, there's no sinkholes or anything like that during this solidifying process. This is how it will be when it's completely done. You know, what you see at this point is what you're going to see. It's not going to be any holes to form or anything like that. And so if that has been your problem during the candle making process, you've been seeing holes or anything like that, make sure you go in the description box, click on one of my classes. I have classes for 464, soy tin, coconut wax, you know, Joy Wax, IGI 6006, Pro Blend 600. I have classes, and each one of these classes will teach you how to get a good hot throw and how to avoid the sinkholes, okay? All right, so we are finished with these candles. I'm just going to leave them here for about an hour, let them fully solidify, pick them up, put some labels on them, and go from there. All right.